It is Thursday, Parshas Matos Masai Chuvdalet Tamas Tuvshim Pai Vuv, July 9th, 2026. My name is Gershy Schwarcz, and I'm bringing you the news of the last 24 hours on Edge.
Your daily report of the news of the last 24 hours, powered by Yiddish 24, provided to you by The Click.
Well, it's back on again. Today's sponsors are my HomeFinish for your shades, blinds, and curtains. Kosher Skinny Shots. Well, the way of life, what can I tell you? Halo 2 high-functioning water, available everywhere. We'll talk about them more soon. But first, the United States and Iran are back at each other again. It is now day 2 since Iran broke the MOU, the Memorandum of Misunderstanding, might I call it. They didn't stick to any of the terms, which we'll go through soon. We'll also discuss why this was expected to happen. Lebanese President Joseph Aoun is officially preparing for a major trip to Washington. Trump is getting ready to build a massive 30-foot tall steel barrier through West Texas, a wall. He's getting ready to build that big wall he wanted to build all the time. And new evidence was released in the Tyler Robinson case, well, what I call it, the Charlie Kirk murder case. For those of you who remember, he was the one who shot and killed with one bullet that took the life of the commentator Charlie Kirk, a very popular conservative voice. And in the tech world, Elon Musk's official artificial intelligence company, SpaceXAI, now he combined it with Grok, has officially released its most powerful computer system yet, which you all know is called Grok, but 4.5. The full reports are coming up. That's obviously, we'll talk about it more, coming up next. Stay with us here on Edge. But before we do this, if you're still pushing through your day on regular water, it's time to upgrade to Halo 2. Now, it's not an upgrade. It's not that much more expensive. Probably the same price and maybe even cheaper. You never know. They call it high-functioning water because it is actually engineered to do exactly that, to make you high-functioning by packing it with electrolytes and a perfect pH balance, plus 9+, for your body, so to be able to absorb the hydration instantly, sending a clean wave of energy straight to your brain. It keeps you sharp, hyper-focused, and completely energized, no matter how busy your schedule gets. Don't let the summer heat slow you down. Stay on top of your game and stay hydrated, high functioning with Halo 2. And besides that, Kosher Skinny Shot, if you're on it, you have to drink with electrolytes. That is why you need Halo 2 high functioning water available everywhere. Let's continue. We will begin with the Middle East, where the ceasefire with the United States and Iran has obviously collapsed completely. This has triggered a second day of massive military strikes across the region. President Trump announced that the whole deal is officially over. The shipping deal, I'm not sure what the shipping deal, I have to ask my writer what this means. Anyway, right after the announcement, America's CENTCOM, Central Command, bombed about 90 Iranian military sites along the coast overnight. American troops targeted air defense systems, coastal radar, missile storage, and Navy sites. Yesterday, Trump said, "These are evil, sick people, and we have to rid their cancer." He said, "They're a cancer, and you know what you do? You got to cut out the cancer early, man." That's what he said.
Mr. President, Tyler Pager with the New York Times. Last month you said Iranian leaders were very rational people, nice people to deal with, strong people, smart people. Today you said they were scum, sick people, and being led by sick people. What changed, and do you think...
I got to know them. So I've said that about a lot. Now, when you say
Anyway, so this was a reporter from the New York Times that says that Trump said yesterday these are evil, sick people, obviously, right? And so now, a few months ago, last month, he said that the Iranians are rational people, good people. And he was asked what changed. So Trump had one straightforward answer. "I got to know them." And Marco Rubio burst out laughing, if you haven't seen that clip, where he stands right beside him. Burst out laughing, anyway, when he said that. So the US strikes continued, and they hit multiple locations, including Bushehr, Bandar Abbas, and several islands. 14 people were killed, and 78 others were wounded in the strikes. Ironically, Iran called the airstrikes a war crime. So they responded by firing massive wave of suicide drones and missiles at American military bases. Air raid sirens went off across the Gulf region, as the Iranian military struck Patriot missile defense systems in Kuwait. They also targeted early warning satellite antennas in Qatar, and Iran also targeted U.S. Army fuel depots in Bahrain. The Bahrain Defense Ministry confirmed one direct hit landed inside the country, even though several missiles were stopped and obviously defended. This escalating fight has almost completely paralyzed commercial shipping in the Strait of Hormuz. Iranian Parliament Speaker Mohammad Bagher Ghalibaf warned, the one who cried at the funeral, I remember not long ago, warned that the shipping lane will now only operate under Iranian terms, Well, they said that before, and they're saying this now. This is the only bargaining chip, by the way. Without that, they're weak and they have nothing left. So this is why they're obviously fighting to the last breath for this. He also warned the United States, quote, if you strike, you will get hit. Actually, I was going to stick with a we, with my mistake, but whatever. Okay. This caused oil prices to go back over $80 a barrel again. Vice President J.D. Vance said yesterday that the American military will keep responding until Iran stops shooting at ships and reopens the Strait of Hormuz. President Trump also warned that Iran about its underground enriched uranium. He said that the U.S. military is using powerful Space Force cameras to track deeply buried sites. He claimed that the cameras are so precise that they can read the name tags of anyone approaching with a shovel. He warned that any person or heavy machine trying to dig toward the uranium will be destroyed. He declared, quote, in the end, we will take it. Trump also promised to hit the Iranian government 20 times harder for every single strike they make. He warned that the U.S. military might bomb Iran's vital Kharg Island, the Kharg Island oil terminal next. The one he threatened, remember, not long ago? An Iranian parliament spokesperson answered that threat directly, obviously, and he said that if American soldiers try to invade Kharg Island, not a single one will return alive. That's what he said. Now, because of the threat of an Iranian attack, the Secret Service forced President Trump to change his aircraft as he left the NATO summit in Turkey. He was scheduled to fly on the new $400 million Air Force One that he got from Qatar, called the VC-25B bridge, which we showed already here on the other day, if you remember, on Edge. Instead, security agents moved him to the older presidential jet and ordered reporters on the flight to close their window blinds. Trump called the people behind the threat sleazebags. He told the press, if I go, you go. So Trump didn't ride the new aircraft, but instead sent it to a base in the United Kingdom for pictures. At Khamenei's funeral, a sign held up in the crowd read, what you should take from Trump is not a concession, it is his life. That's what it said. Trump spoke about the threat himself in Ankara several times yesterday. He said, you know what? I may be gone too, because I'm their number one target. I'm in the number one list, he says. In 2024, the Justice Department stopped an Iranian plot to kill him. And also, for those you remember, not too long ago, there was a shooting in the White House Correspondents' Dinner. And as well, another time, the Secret Service agent killed and managed to kill, or I don't remember if he killed him or not. Anyway, there was a shooting next to the golf club, almost took Trump's life. And another time, obviously, in Butler, Pennsylvania. Now, this week, the Iran's Quds Force, which is obviously a kill squad, has a unit working with Mexican cartels to try and target him as well and kill him. On Truth Social, he posted, we just landed and met up with our new Air Force One, which was sent earlier to RAF Mildenhall, so we could show the wonderful service members as per the entire base's request. They were very excited. Pictures enclosed, obviously. Now, it was he writes, it was on our way back to the States from Turkey with virtually no deviation of flight path, obviously. Yesterday, we also reported that U.S. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth suddenly cancelled a planned visit to Israel and returned to the White House, obviously. According to Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, the cancellation is a sign of new military developments. However, he confirmed Israel is not involved in the American operations. From an official in Israel, Iran is said to be afraid to start up with Israel because they know they might get hit hard, so they're staying back. The devastation would be so much more worse, obviously, if Israel gets involved. So therefore, they're staying back. Inside Iran, the American airstrikes have also forced a delay in the final funeral procession for Ali Khamenei, obviously. Now, during the overnight bombardment, the U.S. military bombed 2 railway bridges in Iran's eastern province. This includes a bridge near the village of Akala. The damage completely disrupted passenger trains running between Tehran and Mashhad. Now, this happened right as Khamenei's coffin was scheduled to arrive in Mashhad after ceremonies finished in Karbala in Iraq. Iranian authorities announced the Mashhad burial ceremony is delayed by several hours. They are officially blaming large crowds in Karbala for holding up the schedule. However, the severed railway line is the actual reason for the funeral for why the funeral is on hold. The Iranian Revolutionary Guard, the IRGC, claimed that the United States targeted the bridges on purpose to distract them from the burial. Saudi Arabia is looking to route the planned India to Europe trade pipeline we spoke about already through Syria instead of Israel. They're exploring the new path because of the war in Gaza. This has forced Riyadh to recess the project after progress on normalized relations with Israel collapsed. Also regarding Syria, the United States is preparing to remove Syria from its list of state sponsors of terror. This is a major help for Syrian President Ahmad al-Shara. Secretary of State Marco Rubio officially informed Congress about the President Donald Trump's decision. He said that this is indeed historic. President Trump spoke about the decision at the NATO summit in Turkey. He praised the Syrian leader, saying al-Shara is doing an excellent job unifying the country. A reporter asked, and he followed up, obviously, and I'm doing a great job unifying our country, obviously. A reporter asked Trump if the Syrian president promised to help deal with Hezbollah in Lebanon. Trump confirmed promises were made, but he refused to share any inside information about this. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has appointed retired IDF Major General David Zini as the new head of Israel's Shin Bet security agency, the Shabak. New audio recordings show Israeli police asked Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu multiple times to testify in the Bild leak investigation. The Bild lead is the Israeli Bild leak investigation is about an unauthorized sending of a secret IDF intelligence document to the German newspaper Bild in 2024. In the audio, Netanyahu's chief of staff is heard rejecting the investigator, saying, "We don't have time, it's irrelevant." And then he told police to speak with the Prime Minister's lawyers instead. Whatever. Intelligence documents leaked, I guess, to the papers. A new poll shows that the Yashar party has officially moved past Netanyahu's Likud party in the largest group in Israel. Former IDF chief of staff Gadi Eisenkopf, who leads now Yashar, is also speaking out on the draft debate. He said that a policy of having zero Torah students is not realistic. He supports the idea of allowing only the top learning Bochurim to be exempt. He completely opposes the proposals that would take away voting rights from Haredim. Looking ahead, Eisenkopf said he would consider bringing the Shas party into the future coalition if they accept his core governing principles. These also include his commitment to bringing hostages home, investigating the government's own failures. That was a mistake. I'm not sure what that was. Anyway, not hostages, obviously. Whatever. The report must have been a typo here. Okay, this includes his commitment to investigating the government's own failures on October 7th, obviously, and sharing service ethic that asks for responsibility for whatever happened. Haredi protesters fought with soldiers and broke into an Israeli military base over the issue with Xeris Hagias, over the arrests. Unbelievable. They managed to break into a military base, which Hamas is trying every single day to do. The military says that the group acted violently and entered a restricted area outside military prison 10 before soldiers forced the protesters off the property. At the same time, Haredi political parties are warning Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu that they will not accept any changes to the agreements regarding the Xeris Hagias. We spoke about this yesterday. The Torah party officially told Likud that the wording for the basic law protecting Torah study must remain exactly as written. Like I said yesterday, Rav Dov Lando Shlita directly questioned whether the government will even honor the agreement that they already made. 18 people are hospitalized in East Yerushalayim after breathing carbon monoxide at a salon. Police arrested 3 people after investigators traced the poisonous gas leak to an illegally installed generator. First responders have checked the area and say that there is no further danger to the public. Let's talk about HomeFinish. If you need blinds, shades, curtains, you have to check out HomeFinish because they are the top leading brand. They handle everything from start to finish with zero hassle. You know that part where you stand in the house and you have shades but they fall off and then, you get very uncomfortable. You're eating your lunch and supper and people walking by can exactly see what you're eating and what spices you put in. That's why you need good shades. And run by Heimish Yingelat, who proudly, this company proudly employs 100% Heimish Yidden there, obviously. And because they operate on a massive scale, it's easy to beat, easy 90% of their competitors. Well, you're getting beautiful American-made, premium quality without the crazy premium price tag. People come back for the price, come back for the service, never come back for the quality. You know why? Because My Home Shades is the top in the industry. You can get them anywhere. Call them for a quote down to Monsey, Monroe, Upstate, New York, the whole area, plus a special offer. You can also call them to the country, by the way. On Edge, you mentioned On Edge, you get 5 to 10% discount off your sale. 845-372-6613, myhomefinish.com, or info at myhomefinish.com. Lebanese President Joseph Aoun met with U.S. Ambassador, the U.S. Ambassador for Lebanon this morning to prepare for the ceasefire talks in Washington. As part of the talks, Lebanese officials expect Israeli soldiers to pull out of Lebanon. However, Israel's defense minister, Israel Katz, is openly rejecting President Trump's claim that Israeli troops will pull out of Lebanon. Katz says Israeli forces are remaining in place, and he declared that that the military did not ask for permission to enter Lebanon, and they do not need permission to stay. Katz announced that the military has already established a strong security zone inside of Lebanon. The zone stretches from the sea to the west to Beaufort Castle and Mount Hermon in the east. Katz says troops will continue to operate there until Hezbollah is completely diminished and disarmed. In another attack, an Israeli drone hit a target near the Al-Gandor hospital in southern Lebanese village of Nabatia Al-Fawaq was something. Over in Gaza, Israeli strikes hit areas in Khan Yunis and Gaza City today. 9 people were killed and several others were hurt, including children. In one of those strikes, obviously children meaning Hamas children, because they're 16-year-olds with guns as well. In one of those strikes, a drone hit a vehicle near Islamic University, killing 1 person. And that's said to be some major Hamas leaders and terrorists were killed in those shots. I don't know the names, and I don't care about the names. Who cares, right? Kosher skinny shot you should care about. You know why? Because actually I spoke to him about it. It's an amazing thing. It doesn't hurt. It's not even a needle. Why? I don't know why they call it a needle. It's a pinch. It's not even. It doesn't hurt. You know, the regular insulin that people take 100 times a day to test for the blood for, people with diabetes. So it's the same type of thing, same type of mechanism, obviously. So that's what they do. Kosher skin shot is an amazing thing. It helps you lose weight if you have problems with weight. And also today's processed foods. Come on, the brain chemicals, the chemicals that your brain doesn't produce much of to help you lessen that carving, that craving, that basically gets you to gain weight, is obviously gets doubled by this Kosher skin shot. And it's an amazing thing. They guide you, they walk you through every step of the way. They're literally your nutrition advisors. This is what it is, okay? And you have to drink a lot of water with it. That's why he also recommended, obviously, drinking electrolytes. And he saw this on my table when I spoke to him. I'm going to release the episode very soon, obviously, of him talking to me about this. pH level 9 from Halo. Okay, call Kosher skin shot today on 845-456-8924. The number is 845-456-8924. And as well, you can enter the raffle the second time already. Somebody already won, and you can also be a lucky winner for the next month raffle. 845-671-1775. Call me on 845-671-1775. The number is over here, and you press 5 to leave your name, telephone number, and obviously Kosher skin shot on edge. Let's continue. In America, Jewish inmates in federal prisons will now be able to see and talk to their relatives using tablets. This is thanks to the new program by Rabbi Moshe Magaretin, head of the Tzedek Association Group, Bureau of Prisoners Director William Marshall, and Deputy Director Josh Mitt. The new setup gets rid of the strict time limits on regular phone calls. Now inmates can use the tablets to video chat as long as they want during set hours of the day. The new program starts this week, right after meeting in Washington, D.C. In Montreal, Chaverim and local police have recovered 2 of the 3 stolen Stramlach that were taken away, that was snatched off the heads last Friday night. The investigations to find the robbers is still ongoing. They didn't lock them up, obviously, yeah. The Jewish Leadership Council has held a large gathering at the House of Lords, also known as the upper house of the UK Parliament. More than 150 people attended, including leaders from the Jewish organisations and over 30 members of the British Parliament. The head of the council, Keith Black, spoke to the crowd and said that Britain is facing a major national challenge. He warned the politicians that they must realise this is not just a Jewish crisis. Mr. Black emphasised that the country needs to be honest about where the hate is coming from and who is spreading it. In the Parliament, the lower house, or the House of Commons, another Jewish meeting was held. All our schooner from England, Gateshead, Manchester, Stamford Hill, London, Golders Green, all got together for a very important meeting discussing the future of the Jewish people in England. This meeting was organised by the Interlink Foundation with the title Advocating for the Jewish Orthodox Community, or the Orthodox Jewish Community. Reported this news, obviously, by Ari Fevergorn himself. The federal government is preparing to build a major new border security project in West Texas near Big Bend National Park. The Trump administration, speaking of Big Ben, we're going to Big Bend with a D, obviously. The Trump administration is getting ready to put up 30-foot tall border barriers in the area, along with new access roads and obstacles to stop vehicles from crossing. The physical walls will also have new surveillance systems to watch the border. Because of illegal immigration, housing prices have significantly gone up, according to a new study from the Federal Reserve Bank of Dallas. J.D. Vance has already said that a long time ago that the arrival of millions of illegal immigrants under the Biden administration increased obviously competition and drove up housing costs. Kevin Warsh held his first meeting as the new chairman of the Federal Reserve. This meeting ended as expected, with the rates staying the same, as I expected, obviously. That's because the team was divided on whether to raise or lower rates, so they compromised, obviously. As you can imagine, officials think that the risks to national employment have dropped slightly, but the risk of price increasing remains very high of regular prices in foods. Right now, the committee is evenly divided on whether... What? Hold on a second, that's a mistake. Secretary of State Marco Rubio announced that the new steps to speed up how the State Department issues and renews passports will change very, very soon, obviously. Now, very soon you'll be able to take your passport photo right at home, on your phone or computer, using the camera that it already has. The new system will use an advanced facial recognition technology to approve the picture. In New York, a new survey shows that city mayor Zohran Mamdani is more popular among American Jews than the Israeli prime minister. The survey found 44% of Jewish respondents have a positive view of Mamdani, despite the mayor's strong criticism of Israel. Interesting. In Tennessee, I wonder who these Jews are. In Tennessee, an armed fugitive was shot and killed by agents from President Trump's anti-crime task force at a hotel in East Memphis. The suspect was a former college student from Nashville. The fatal shots were fired by National Guard members attached to the federal unit. This is the second person killed by the task force in just 3 days, and the fourth fatal shooting altogether involving this specific Memphis term. 33 people were injured after an MTA transit bus crashed into a FedEx office building. This happened just outside Baltimore, Maryland. Before hitting the building, the bus crashed into multiple cars on the road. They also confirmed that at least one of those cars overturned in the middle of the street. One person was trapped in the bus nebach, and another was trapped in a car. A critical patient also had to be airlifted. Officials declared a second alarm mass casualty event. Conservative activist Charlie Kirk was shot and killed while speaking at Utah University last September. For those of you who remember, we reported it here on Edge. And a court is now hearing new details about the day of this attack. Prosecutors say that the suspect, a 23-year-old Tyler Robinson, walked around the campus and ate a meal at Chick-fil-A, a restaurant, before the shooting. An investigator also said that Robinson actually interacted with Kirk's staff before the fatal shooting. Right after the attack, Robinson was pulled over by a police officer on his way home. The court was shown a new video footage of Robinson walking around the campus multiple times that day, and his mother confirmed in court that this footage is actually her son. Robinson has not pleaded guilty yet. And this evidence, or not pleaded at all, the new evidence is a slap in the face for conspiracy theorists like Candace Owen and alike, who say that Robinson was not even on campus on the day of the shooting, and the shooter is obviously Ben Shapiro, she claims. Ben Shapiro came with a whole answer, obviously. Anyway, you can listen to his show for that. But the terrible tragedy struck Muncie yesterday, where a 7-year-old girl named Blima Weber was hit and killed by a school bus nebach. The crash happened as she was trying to cross the street in Blaveld Road. The levaya was held yesterday around 3:30 p.m. Turkish President Erdogan handed out firearms as gifts to world leaders at the NATO summit. UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer received a pistol and ammunition from the Turkish leader. Ursula von der Leyen and Antonio Costa and Mark Carney also received some guns. These gifts comes as Turkey and the UK are planning to sign a new defense partnership deal. Also speaking at the NATO Defense Forum in Turkey, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky claimed his military is inflicting about 30,000 Russian casualties every single month. Just now, Russia just shot a missile that killed almost 12 people and injured hundreds. He says Ukrainian forces keep a video record of every single Russian soldier who is killed, wounded, or captured. He stated that drone strikes are responsible for the overwhelming majority of those attacks. And interesting enough, a funny thing happened where the Ukrainian president was sitting right next to Trump, and they were asking him whether he would go to Moscow. Putin asked if he would come to Moscow. So Trump repeated that to him. Putin has asked me if you would come to Moscow. I don't know. Would you go to Moscow? Zelensky responded, well, there's a lot of There is a lot of, I can't copy him, Ukrainian drones there, so I'm not so sure. Anyway, inside Russia, it was a joke that he made and everyone laughed. Inside Russia, Ukrainian forces attacked one of the country's largest oil refineries overnight. This attack hit a Nizhny Novgorod plant that processes about 17 million tons of crude raw oil a year. Russia has now placed a complete ban on diesel exports. Deputy Prime Minister Alexander Novak announced Moscow will start buying fuel from other countries as early as this month. Sweden has allowed Ukraine to use Swedish weapons to strike targets deep inside Russia. This includes shooting down Russian aircrafts while those planes are still in Russian airspace. The approval covers Swedish-supplied Meteor missiles. This is an advanced long-range weapon designed to hit planes from very far away. Elon Musk's artificial intelligence company, SpaceX AI, is releasing a new computer system today called Grok 4.5. It's new because it's their first release since buying the programming company Cursor. It is built specifically for writing computer code and doing digital work on its own, rather than just answering questions for regular users. Musk says the system is faster and costs much less to run than its competitors. He priced it at $2 to process 1 million pieces of data, making it way cheaper than rival models like Claude's Opus 4.8, which is from Anthropic. The company trained Grok 4.5 using the same exact massive computers they currently rent out to tech giants like Google. Shawarma Delight, for delicious shawarma, the best lamb shawarma in the market, obviously. In Monsey, if you stop by Monsey, it's worth it making a trip from abroad if you are abroad. In the marketplace, free ices, giving out free ices to kids. Today is Thursday night, so they're open to very late. Stop by for Mincha Marav, on the way to the country, the way back from the country, wherever you are, in the tent, there in the marketplace, and they obviously offer their yapchik, chulent, and all kind of jachnun, many other delicious things, obviously. On your way to the country, stop by to Shawarma Delight, mention on Edge, get a free soda on the way. Why not? Open till very late tonight. YS Capital Group, I'll tell you why. 718-831-2168, and they will tell you the answer. YS Capital Group, for obviously all your loans, interests, and interest in loans, obviously for development, for investments. Now I'll tell you the number first. 845-622-1111. 845-254-1111. You know who that is. Arrive Express. My friends, the best taxi service in the company. Protobyte. 347-354-1237. 347-354-1237. proto-byte.com for your software and website engineering services. And obviously, always remember, on Edge, where you can always listen to my news wherever you want, wherever you go in the world. And tonight is Thursday night. Lemonade is the official sponsor of today's show. Lemonade, I forgot to mention in the beginning, and I apologize, so here I am mentioning Lemonade Supermarket. Lemonade Supermarket is obviously on the way to it's in the country, 261 North Main Street. Okay, the best supermarket. They have a deli, they have a sushi kitchen, they have also a cafe for morning, for lunch or brunch. You can find anything there. The best, a very good wide range supermarket. They have everything. You can even find Halo 2 high functioning water there. I think so. I've said it. They said they don't have it. I'll make sure they do. Okay, I'll talk to them about it. All right. All the best, my friends. Have yourselves a wonderful day.
Your daily report of the news of the last 24 hours, powered by Yiddish 24, provided to you by The Click.